All right, welcome to another Chain Fusion Live. This is a special edition. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hope it's been a good day. This is a really exciting Chain Fusion Live to be introducing Benny from the TAP protocol. Benny, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're really excited to get you on board. Obviously, we're going to get into the announcement that you guys had on Monday and just like the groundbreaking news that is. But before I jump in there, let me also introduce Radu from Definity, who's a senior developer, dev partner manager. Radu, how are you doing?
Hi, very good, very good. Thank you very much for having me as well, Kyle. And
All
great
right.
to have also Benny here.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. What a pleasure. The announcement dropped on Monday. You saw Tap Protocol tweeted out, and then the press really picked it up very well. The fact that they had the first ever Bitcoin native smart contract, swap and liquidity pool built directly on the Bitcoin L1 mainnet. So Benny, I'm sure we're not the first to say, but definitely congratulations and really, really awesome accomplishment.
Thank you. Thank you. Much appreciated.
So let's walk back. Within the ICP Definity community, there may not be as much of awareness of TAP protocol and your association with Track and all of that. So before we get into the announcement, and I definitely encourage everyone to be on your edge of your seat because the announcement is truly groundbreaking. But before we get into that, let's give us the background of TAP and kind of like how you guys got founded and how you ended up down to where you're at today.
Oh yeah, that's actually a very long story that originated actually way back in February of 2023 when basically Ordinal started slowly to pick up. Yeah, and was personally interested in how that all works. Was in general very appealing. To have basically a collectible NFT kind of system, yeah, that sits directly on top of Bitcoin. And moving forward, there was the emergence of the so-called meta protocols within ordinals. The most famous one being BRC20, right? And when at that point, I didn't really think about something like TAP protocol yet. It was all just new. But what I did back then was experimenting a lot. And part of the experiments was that when you develop such things, especially when they are new, yeah, you need basically data, right? You need APIs that you work with. And because of all this influx of new people into that space, all these available API services that emerged, right? They suddenly shut down, so I couldn't really do what I wanted to do, and I needed to start to create my own APIs. And moving further, I was thinking, okay, if you do that, and this is going to stay as it seems, then why not create something that's free for everyone to use that provides basically a decentralized API, yeah, for all that's happening on Ordinals, which then emerged into Track. And also seeing like back then to this day the limitations of BRC20, I just felt it's probably a cool idea to explore the world of the meta protocols further and how you can actually utilize them to do not so rigid things, yeah. The result of that was the TAP protocol, which is basically a metaverse. Metaverse, a meta protocol. Yeah, metaverse also, but it goes too far right now. But a meta protocol that's supposed to be dynamic enough to be able to get integrated, yeah, into qualified systems, so to say, yeah. And relatively early, I was like, I believe, end of last year, where I knew ICP from before already, but I wasn't really aware of how far the Bitcoin integration went. And then I saw Bob Bodily, who was also like pretty active, yeah, when it comes to ordinals. I saw him tweeting, and I was like, it sounds interesting, right? And I was looking into that, and at some point was busy with other stuff. I was just made like, dang, of course, it's right in front of our nose, right? So and it fulfilled them basically every single criteria that I found is necessary for this, not just for this protocol, to work within such a qualified system. So ICP is a qualified system to work with the TAP protocol, but as a quote unquote neat side effect, it's all happening on L1. Yeah. So you literally have, so Canistone ICP literally acts on behalf of the TAP protocol and on behalf, of course, of the Bitcoin it owns, right? Through chain fusion technology. And you have even direct access to UTXOs. That's the simplest definition of an L1 that you can have. If you can have direct access to your set of UTXOs, you're on L1, right? It's literally like you're sitting in front of your own wallet, right? So and in that sense, and I was also looking into how that in principle works of ICP with the subnet strategy, and more leaning more towards actual application developers and also content providers and things like that. Also, the pricing model, it's really, really cost effective to develop on that. It's like a whole bunch of things that make it a perfect combination. That being said, TAP protocol it works on its own. Yeah, it's not tied to any specific technology, but after a very careful observation and research, it was like the perfect candidate to utilize ICP basically as a reference implementation for that.
That's awesome. That's such a good background. I mean, you really covered the whole history up to today. So let's jump in then. Give us the background in case, and I think you could assume the audience is going to be some real good, real people who are real deep into Bitcoin and the tech stack. And when you say UTXOs, they understand that. But then there's probably going to also be some viewers who are kind of more newer to Bitcoin. So just kind of give us what the significance of having a swap and a liquidity pool, basically directly on the mainnet of Bitcoin, and why that's different than maybe other solutions that have been deployed to date.
Yeah, I think an answer to that is multi-layered. I can only really talk about how I see things or how I'm experiencing them. And my experience also in the past when it comes to blockchain is, yes, L2s are generally absolutely necessary. Yeah, they fulfill their role. There's nothing against an L2. But if you look at actually the reality, even what's happening on EVM chains, the vast majority of people are trying to stay on an L1, right? Other than they are having a really, really good reason to go on an L2. Yeah, maybe an asset that only exists there, maybe some incentive, who knows, right? Some special feature, right, within that L2. They tend
cost also.
Yeah, they tend to stay on L1, even if there are lower block times and things like that. They just take this, and why they are taking this is can be a hassle. Yeah, first usually you need to bridge your assets to an L2, right? Then of course you have the technology in question that sits between that takes all these assets into custody. That raises then questions about security. Some are really great, in terms of securing. Some are rather not, right? So, and these are all reasons why a lot of people stay away. So, and another practical outcome of this is simply, even if you are forced, or especially if you're forced to exchange assets between L2 and then L1, what you usually do is you bridge your asset into that L2 and try to get out from there as fast as you can, after you did what you wanted to do, right? So that comes with costs, right? You bridge in, do stuff, go wild, bridge out. So the question is then, why? Yeah. So, and there are of course other technologies that are being explored right now. For example, I'm pretty bullish on BitVM, for example, because I simply like this completely new approach on things and things like that. But it's not available yet. Yeah, it's not available, and there are different strategies to solve that. There's this classic L2 strategy. There is this. There's also L2s combined with with rollups, yeah, and things like that. And this is literally like saying, okay, this is another big opportunity here. This is another option that obviously works well, fulfills all requirements of doing stuff on an L1 on a system that is proven to work well. Yeah, and especially if you're a developer, and just these little quote unquote little things that you can use timers and loop something and automate things. Yeah, it's unheard of in crypto. You know what I mean? So that opens also a huge variety of new things you can actually develop. Yeah. So and in that sense, and in that sense, I believe that's altogether it's a strong, yeah, it's a strong reason to stay on L1. Yeah, even if you if you have Bitcoin having these low block times, but you have less risk. You have new things that you can explore. Also, yeah, combination with ICP, and you most likely have the cheaper option. Yeah, in the end. Yeah. So these are very good reasons. So that's why we did that. That being said, and I would really like to emphasize that in another rollout after we roll out this, we will also utilize ICP as an actual L2. Yeah, it has, I believe, a 2-second per block finality. Yeah, and this blows a lot of other L2s that are out of the water, right? In terms of finality. Yeah? So that being said, it doesn't mean like you have to use an L1, but you have the choice. And I believe generally, as a software developer, especially coming from an open source angle, I'm very much into choices.
Yeah, that was such. I feel like we gotta clip all of that because you're doing such a great job of just explaining both the ICP tech stack, but also the importance of being heavily tied down into the layer one. Reduces like liquidity fragmentation. You bring in all the security from that layer one, but then to your other point about just as an entrepreneur and as a developer, you want to build the product that you want to build. You want to make as few sacrifices based on the tech stack to get to the product. And I think that's where having that optionality really is beneficial for the industry of saying, okay, you can build directly on the layer one, or maybe there's a layer two that actually lets you get to the product that you want to get to. And it sounds like you found the really good balance between those two things. So kudos on that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's general. You just nailed it with balance. Yeah. It just usually as a developer or as a project that tries to solve problems, you rather want to not reinvent the wheel. Yeah, and in the same way, when I said earlier that L2s they absolutely are necessary, no doubt about that. But there is also let's call it a darker part of L2s that are not necessary. They don't, to be honest, they're not solving problems. Yeah. So and the TAP protocol, for example, is being built to solve problems. ICP is clearly being built to solve problems. So you have basically like two projects that are coming together here that both are looking at solving problems. It's simple as that. Yeah.
Well, let's get. Go ahead, Radu.
Yeah, I really like this approach of kind of comparing and contrasting, and I think there's not enough developers in crypto that are doing this. I think sometimes it's like this default choice that everybody is taking, but I think you touched also on an interesting point, which is like problems that need to be solved. So maybe you can give us a bit of a background of what problems is TAP protocol trying to solve for Bitcoin L1 more specifically.
Mm-hmm. There are first and foremost, it's about flexibility. Yeah. So because of how the TAP protocol is structured, it allows to be embedded, for example, into ICP. Yeah. And then it can be used within ICP in a way that is efficient. Yeah. Of course, you could take BRC20 and do something on ICP2, but the way how BRC20 works, would require a lot more transactions, a lot more things to deal with, right? Which is not the case with the TAP protocol. Yeah, to give you an example, with the TAP protocol, you can literally transfer assets within the protocol, yeah, in one transaction and not in two. Yeah, so that's a very strong, yeah, that's a very strong feature. For example, yeah, you have things like yeah, what's commonly known as airdrops, right? It isn't called like that in the protocol. It's actually called token send, and there is a it enables you basically to roll up, yeah, or to stack, you know, like transfers that you're planning to transact, and then you simply transact them all at once, yeah, in one transaction instead of, yeah, each individually. And that is being used also in ICP, yeah, with our ICP integration, yeah. So so these are these things that help developers. And aside from that, we also have completely unique asset classes within the TAP protocol. So, for example, digital matter theory is being implemented. You can they can basically based on historical data on Bitcoin, find patterns, yeah, and build new assets based on these patterns. These assets can be fungibles or non-fungible tokens, so literal ordinals, yeah, collectibles, and that's why we're also looking a lot forward into ICP. And yesterday I heard from the block runner, for example, that they are really looking into that to utilize ICP for that as well. Yeah. So then of course you there's like more like this like a very technical part of that. The rather the community part of that is that we're not like really just pretending, yeah, to upgrade this protocol and open communication channels, and then in the end everything stays as it is. But we're actually listening to demand, yeah. So if there's a good reason, yeah, why a feature should be added to the TAP protocol, we have a process for that, and we're adding this, and that's what we're actually doing, yeah. Of course, you need to be careful what you're adding, because there are indexes, yeah, that need to index, that needs to be performant, yeah. So, but there is a lot that we already implemented, a lot more that we're going to implement there. That brings in all the time kind of a new vibes into the protocol. Yeah.
Love it. I love it. I see in the comments a few people have joined post announcement, and so they're saying, "Hey, wait, what's the announcement? You guys skipped over that. Let me just bring it on up." So, TAP protocol getting the first ever Bitcoin native smart contract swap and liquidity pool on the Bitcoin L1 mainnet. I see we have about 900 watchers on YouTube right now. So really want to just stress, you should be following TAP protocol. You can see on the screen here the Twitter handle. So their followers should go up by 900, because every single one of you really should be following, because it's a phenomenal work they're doing. Do you want to jump into then on the tech side of stuff, or do you want to keep going down use cases? Where do you want to take this conversation, Benny?
Yeah, since you have open this article, right? There is a part that basically says how that looks like under the surface, right? Okay. And for example, it's actually very simple. So you probably have that open already. There are a couple of inscriptions, yeah, that represent, for example, adding liquidity, yeah, to that pool that lives on the corresponding canister. And this is such an example, yeah, of a TAP protocol transaction. If you see that DTA field, yeah, that's an extension of the protocol that allows us to send operations to the commands, basically to the canister. In this example, is it adding? No, it's swapping. So here it swaps actual BTC for a token that is called Swapperoo. It has an implicit desired price, yeah, That's the DES, which is very low. And then you have the slippage there. Yeah, it's very high here because there's not much liquidity in that example. Yeah, and in the other link, there's an example how you actually add liquidity. Yeah, for example, here you have the DTA field again, the operation add. Yeah, similar, you have like the desired explicit price. Yeah, and then the slippage from that. Yeah. And on the canister side, you can actually see that, that it has been registered, that there should be exactly what you can do. So for example, you can click on query on dbget, for example, and then just enter log log_0, for example. And if you hit call, then you see basically that it registered the liquidity provision, that you just had open in that other link, with the protocol operation. So, and this is literally money that arrived there. So if you scroll down a little bit further down below, there's get token info. And if you query that and enter please swap a roux, exactly. It gives you information of the current state, of the pool. It's very similar to how it works on Ethereum in terms of the concept. So so any client can, for example, read from that canister, get this data together, build a UI UX based on that, and render data. For example, how much liquidity is there, what's the current price, things like that. So, and on the get TVL, you can query that right away. That's just at the moment, it's just the sets that sits there, which is like 6,000 sets, right? Of course, this number would then be higher when there's actually the actual release that everybody can use, hopefully at least. And this is basically what we're doing here. We're at the moment we're at the moment at the point to develop the UI UX, so we progress very, very far already. And the last remaining thing is then basically the liquidity issuance, right? So the liquidity is by choice. You can choose between keeping the liquidity in the canister, and then just ask to return the liquidity or add more, right? Or you're gonna have the choice to receive a representation of that liquidity as an ordinal, and that ordinal you can use to whatever, to trade, stake, look at it. You know what I mean? So it's like it's literally like things are working on other AMMs and swaps, when it comes to liquidity representation.
So maybe just to take a step back, because there's so much here. So first of all, if you're not familiar with what you're looking at here, this is just a standard Bitcoin inscription, not BRC20 though, right?
Correct. This is TAP protocol. It's exactly
specific to the protocol. I mean, the data guy in me is like, oh, this is a JSON file that you've now loaded into, basically onto the mainnet of Bitcoin. So essentially, anyone who wants to execute a swap or add liquidity to a swap, they're going to pretty much just do a standard inscription into the mainnet, and then it just sits there and lives forever.
Yeah, exactly. So that is another. I didn't even touch on that because we were talking about L2, L1, right? So using this approach, you can keep using your ordinal supporting wallet. A typical sign off if you're using an L2 is if you either need another wallet or two wallets, or you're having a switch there that you explicitly need to click, to signal, okay, I'm going on another chain now, but this is not the case here, right? So it's a very transparent thing. For people on top of that, there is no need to use anything else than what they are used to. And ICP makes that possible. Of course, that means that nobody really sees ICP in that case. That's why we're also very, very loudly saying this is made possible for ICP. And when it comes to the L2 that we're planning to do, after the release, then you actually will get in touch with ICP and ICP wallets and learn how it works there. But then you have, like I mentioned earlier, the way faster block finality. Yeah. So we like to separate that in these ways, right? Again, to give people choice. Yeah.
So essentially, for this Swaparoo, I don't know, sometime in the near future, you're going to have the ability to swap for this token natively on Bitcoin. So you're going to be, the 10-minute confirmation blocks, the whatever the mempool is looking at in terms of gas. But if you want to do it faster, you can maybe have an app on ICP as an L2 that you have the Swaparoo bridge token, so you can do more instant, 2-second finality, super cheap costs, all of that, and then obviously you could unbridge back to Bitcoin if you wanted to, or just keep using within the L2. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you decide as a user or consumer, right? You have the choice which route you want to go, right? And you have the freedom, to choose that. So nobody's forcing you. And but by the way, this Swaparoo token, this is not going to be anything that's going to be released, or this is just it's all on mainnet. We just use that, for this proof that we did it, So if there are people thinking, oh, this is like the token, but it's not. This is absolutely an example token. It's not going to be used in any shape or form. So, but there are numerous other other tokens that exist already on the TAP protocol. There will be more, and then for these, the pools will basically be available.
All right, quick question. Because now where I'm going is like, oh well, actually now that I have the candid interface, I can go ahead and swap and get myself some Swaparoo, even though you're saying it's not a live token.
Yeah, in theory they could, but it's so the liquidity is so low, the prices would explode really fast. Like I for good reason. Yeah, it's so low, and I wouldn't really suggest to do that. Yeah.
Just one quick comment, because unfortunately I'll have to leave in about 2 minutes. So one thing that I wanted to kind of emphasize is this abstraction of complexity. I think there's not enough people thinking in crypto about like abstracting these complexities. People not being aware that they use certain chains, as you were saying, that okay, people will be running a swap and they don't necessarily interact with ICP. They don't need to download the different wallets, so on and so forth. I think this is clearly the way forward in terms of user experience. And since we're talking about the experience in general, maybe you can give us a bit about a bit of background of how was your developer experience while building on ICP. I see here that most of the code is written in TypeScript. So yeah, maybe you can give some background to the people here, like kind of how easy was it for you to onboard to ICP, how easy it was coming from like this different ecosystem to start writing smart contract code or canister code on ICP.
Yeah, so first and foremost, I was pretty much impressed. So I was impressed for numerous things. First and foremost, how it all works. Right? Of course, there is, when you are used to, let's say, Solidity, like like basically the EVM stack, right? You learned, and you do that many years. You learned to code more efficient. But at the same time, you try. You're not even trying out certain things simply because they're so cost intensive, right? This part was for me, not isn't, but was for me the actual hardest part to really literally understand. Guys, this is something, where I can basically for a fraction of the costs on other chains, do a lot more in terms of algorithms, in terms of implementing ideas, straight. Then when it comes to the actual development, there's everything is there, right? It's literally awesome. There is the forum. people are helping out there when there are questions. But to be honest, there were not many questions that I needed. That's the point. And then a huge shout out to Azel. That's a project that's building on ICP right now that we are using, which lowers the barrier for stepping into that space as a developer even further, which basically allows you to develop everything with TypeScript. Yeah. We ourselves, we are developing a set of reusable code. Yeah. Loosely in the spirit of Open Zeppelin that people can reuse. That is basically for Azure, yeah. Reuse to build their own solutions, yeah, with ICP and the TAP protocol, yeah. And also really like to emphasize that the help from the ICP team also is really priceless. It's really it is what it is. So it's the whole package together. Is very informative. It's very straightforward. There is a ton of documents out there, right? You just need to change a little bit the way of how you're used to think, yeah. And then you will realize, hey, this is just normal, regular software development as I knew it before I did all that stuff, yeah, on blockchains, right? So we're coming back more to how you develop things as an actual software developer, right? And that's what makes it so great, in my opinion, if you ask me for feedback.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. I'm glad the experience was great. And appreciate the shout out for Jordan Last. Actually, I'll just point out down here, TypeScript being one of the supported languages on ICP is all because of Demergent Labs and its founder, Jordan Last, who created the Azul SDK for doing TypeScript on ICP. In terms of okay, so we've talked through now the tech and behind the scenes and how basically what TAP protocol is doing is creating a protocol where you can stay on the Bitcoin L1. You don't need to use any L2 for the swaps, but if you do want to move to an L2 for faster swaps or cheaper swaps, you have that optionality as well. What like kind of walk me through like next steps for you guys? You have the back end ready. What in terms of like getting the front end going and then like growth and what you're looking at there for your like go to market on this?
Yeah, the go to market is basically very straightforward. We're as I said, we're currently developing the UI UX and a few more tweaks, yeah, for the canisters themselves. And I wouldn't say it's going to be a stealth release, but it's going to be a release that can come very quickly. We're not talking about many months here. We're talking about weeks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And will be basically available on a special website that basically gives you the same options that we know and love from typical swaps that are out there, yeah. Maybe with a couple of things that are different, yeah, but they're not like really like roadblocking or something to people, just because there are a couple of things that work differently. But I don't believe that this will really show, because as I said, if let's say what I'm talking about is in the end, if you're coming, let's say from Ethereum and want to use that, you need an ordinals wallet, right? An ordinal supporting wallet. So you need to be willing to do that. If you're not willing to do that, there's the other choice then on an L2 at a later point that will be coming relatively shortly after, but then utilizing an ICP wallet, yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty straightforward. Of course, we will drum that up, yeah, with a lot of documentation, with a lot of insights, yeah, how that works, and make this basically a rolling kind of release, yeah. Because when things like this happen, if we just look back at the history of Uniswap, yeah, it was also not like, okay, we're going out and here we are. There was actually Uniswap V1, right? It was known to a lot of people, but they really went mainstream over time. So that means that is something that you need that you need to take care of, yeah, that you need to upgrade, that you need to not just to upgrade, but you need to have user feedback and then upgrade based on that. Like as I said earlier, normal software development. As for this typical crypto, kind of thing, of course, there will be the appropriate marketing, yeah, when it comes to that. But generally, we are more focused on being a software development project, yeah, that looks to release such things in a way that they are working also many years into the future, right? So that it's not going to be the typical crypto release in that sense.
That's I feel like that's really good in terms of go to market. Let the product speak for itself, and it seems like you guys have really the makings of a phenomenal product. So walk in the grander scheme of things, because there's been a lot discussed in like the last, let's say, 12 months regarding Bitcoin Season 2. This idea of maybe crypto moving back home to the OG chain. Like, is that clearly when Ordinals came out a year and a half ago? You saw that and you saw the opportunity there. Is that kind of the core thesis? Is that a lot of what's going on outside of Bitcoin is now maybe moving back towards Bitcoin?
Yeah, I feel it's a natural progression of things. If you look at the history of Bitcoin itself, first it was rather be seen as a digital payment system, yeah, with magic internet money, transformed into a store of value. Then it became an actual yeah, collectible platform, yeah, that's commonly used, yeah, ordinals. And if you follow the road, yeah, it's totally natural, yeah, that these things also exist then on what's called what's then called season 2 of Bitcoin, right? To me, it's actually personally it's season 4, 5 or so, yeah, right. So, but it's of course how the perception, yeah, of people to Moses, it's season 2, it's fine. And then we will see where we go from there. Yeah, I would say if there's season 3, there would probably something about big data. Who knows? Yeah, probably not on the ledger itself, on the Bitcoin ledger itself, but through technologies that emerge after that. Yeah, up to AI. Yeah, to some shape or form. It will come definitely.
Yeah. Actually, I'll be speaking at Rare Evo on Saturday about Bitcoin and AI, and I pretty strongly believe that AI agents will want to make transactions between each other, and that it's going to want to settle on a layer that is considered to be money already. So that seems like that's a no-brainer. In terms of I'll ask first. So yesterday ICP celebrated the Deuterium milestone that came with block header data and threshold schnorr. Does that have any impact on Tap protocol? Any of those features you guys plan to leverage in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely when it comes to staking, super important to have schnorr. It's very early yet to tell because there's no development started for that yet, but it's going to come, yeah. And that forces us, yeah, to use schnorr signatures because we need to create assets, yeah, and then actual assets that people can stake for, and this is what makes this possible. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. In terms of let me ask this question then. You found ICP, you're loving the tech stack. Let's be honest, there's still some features that probably should be added to ICP. What does your wish list look like for future development of the protocol that would maybe help you expand what you guys are doing or make your life easier?
Yeah, that's a really good question. What I would wish in general for, but I think it's taken care of with progression, is you can store a lot already there. Yeah, and the prices to store data, they're cheap. Of course, at some point you're gonna hit the barrier. So in that sense, you cannot store like a whole Netflix collection on which I'm not asking anyone to do, but you know what I mean, right? In terms of data, yeah. I think big data, really big data, is in the next years very, very important. And if ICP could find a way, to have kind of an extension, to the actual very high, storage options, to have to develop basically a possibility to do even more, maybe on demand, maybe I know there is something like this already, but what I mean is literally like a clear path, towards to go beyond that. I'm pretty sure that's going to be figured out, but that's something that I would be wishing moving forward for ICP, because I know it will be in high demand.
Yeah, I know. Actually, the AI side of ICP is really pushing performance. Right now, you can do 400 gigabytes in a smart contract, and our near-term goal, so maybe 12 months, 18 months. The engineers don't like it when I put out timelines, but so be it. But two terabytes is kind of where we're aiming. I know we get a lot of that. This comes up a lot also because when you start talking about 1 terabyte, now you're talking about where you could actually just put the entire Bitcoin state in a smart contract on ICP, and then that just unlocks like indexing and all of that. That might be kind of interesting. Is that?
That's interesting. That's very interesting. I think technically it would even work. Just in the end about the pricing, and handling the complexity of that. I can really imagine that this is going to be something that needs to be really, really taken carefully. I could see ICP, for example, providing kind of a internal VM for this kind of stuff. So you're not like deploying your own Bitcoin Core instance there or whatever, right? But if there's an option to buy an actual VM instance and use that, I can see it working very, 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 very well.
Cool, awesome, yeah. If well, as you think of more and more ideas, obviously we're always interested to learn how to make the protocol much more valuable to developers, and especially people who are doing groundbreaking work like Tap Protocol. So you've got the connections within Dfinity and just the ICP community to make sure that moves forward. Is there anything else that you want to touch on before we wrap up? Anything we missed?
I think we covered a lot here. I would just say, thank you for everyone, the community, both communities. Of course, Tap Protocol, but also the ICP community, which is pretty uncommon in that space. To get that much support. Not just I just see a bunch of people also getting support, right? So and to get also the support in a civilized manner, you know what I mean, right? So we can talk actually tech, so and get things done, right? So so thank you for that. Also thanks to our community to follow on all the developments, that they understand, right? What we're doing here special, it's different, to what others are doing, leading to a similar outcome. In the end, we're just fulfilling requirements, right? That's what we're doing. People want this. Okay, how can we do that? And it's good to see that in this space, right? That in this space, that you can basically in a neutral way achieve that, this kind of stuff, and just fulfill the requirements that people have. Thanks for that, to enable that. And that's all at this point, right? That I could add.
Yeah, awesome. You guys are doing awesome work. Where can people go to keep up to date on Tap Protocol? Anything else that they should make sure they're following to stay up to date?
Yeah, on X, tap_protocol, TAP_protocol, of course. If we also have a tap the developer Telegram that you could join, or you can directly either knee up right away on the track Discord. At the moment, this is like our economy, like Discord where Tap is basically living too. and ping me directly, or ping somebody of the team members if they have questions, how that all works, or whatever question that is, right? And that's usually the places I will go, or just go on the website track.network. There's a tab section, where people can read more about that.
Track.network, TRAC.network.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I'm posting those into the comment section. And actually, and this is kind of perfect because I'm just now reading. I apologize to everyone who's been watching, who's had a lot of great questions. I failed to read through them, but I did see this one pop up. So Luke.icp is kind of sums it up what you guys accomplished very well. Luke is the CEO of Plug Wallet, which is a popular wallet on ICP. And so you're getting some great kudos from an OG within the ICP community. So well done, Benny. I think you guys did it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, everyone, again, follow Benny, follow Tap Protocol on X, and keep up to date. Some groundbreaking stuff going on, and thank you for tuning into Chain Fusion Live. And Benny, I look forward to the day where I get to meet you in person, and hope to see you at a conference sometime soon.
Are you going to be on Bitcoin Amsterdam?
I wasn't planning on it, but that question's been asked enough times that I'm starting to lean towards yes.
Okay, let's see. Let's see.
I just got to get the okay from my wife.
Yeah, I know the drill. Okay. Cool.
Well, everyone, that's another Chain Fusion Live. I thank you for your time, and I wish you all a very good day. Goodbye.